Okay, so you know that today in our history class we are going to discuss the rest of the portion of your chapter number 9. That is, the name of the chapter is Traders, Kings and Pilgrims, and it is also present in as chapter number 10 and old NCERT book. Those students have old NCERT book, they can open this book, and in old NCERT book it is in page number 103 and new NCERT book it is in page number 95. And our today's topic is the spread of Buddhism. So, you know that in the time of Ashoka, Buddhism was spread into many other countries, and he also sent some officials towards different regions of the world to spread his Dhamma or Buddhism. So, after Ashoka, in the time of Kushanas, also the Buddhism was spread into many other countries, and the most famous Kushana ruler, Kanishka, who ruled around 1900 years ago, took major initiatives to spread the Buddhism, and he organized a Buddhist council, and it is organized in a place in Kashmir named Kundalban. Okay, so in Kundalban, Kashmir, he organized a Buddhist council in the 1st century AD or 1st CE. And in that Buddhist council, the scholars met and discussed important matters about the Buddhism, how to spread the Buddhism and what are the major principles, all these things and practices, everything discussed on those Buddhist councils. So total 4 Buddhist councils organized in ancient period and in modern period also, in also 2 another Buddhist councils organized. But in the earlier days, this is the last Buddhist council in ancient period. And Ashwaghosh, a poet who composed the biography of the Buddha named Buddha Charita, also composed in the time of Kanishka. So, Buddha Charita, biography of Buddha, composed by Ashwaghosh. And Ashwaghosh also the court poet of Kanishka and lived in the court of Kanishka. And from that time, the Buddhist literature, they use the Sanskrit language, writing various Buddhist texts. Previously we have seen that the most of the Buddhist scripts, they are written in Prakrit language, and sometimes they use the Brahmi script. Now they use the Sanskrit language writing the texts, and Buddha Charita also written in Sanskrit language. So from that time, a different type of Buddhism also started, and Buddhism in the 4th Buddhist council, after the 4th Buddhist council, it was divided into 2 major groups. One is the Hinayana, other one is Mahayana. Okay. So what are the major practices that was practiced by the Mahayana Buddhism? You have to know that. That earlier the Buddha's presence was shown in sculptures by using certain signs. Certain signs like his attainment of enlightenment was shown by sculptures of the people tree So you can see the picture of the peepal tree in your page number 103 or page number 95 on your new book. That is sculpture from the stupa of Sanchi. It was taken, it is taken from the stupa of Sanchi. And look at the tree and the empty seat below the tree, and sculptors carved this to indicate that the Buddha had attained enlightenment while meditating under the tree. But no proper image of Buddha was not carved out or drawn in the walls of Sanchi stupa, because it was the older form, okay. Yes, Ayush, Ashoka time, everyone read in Sanskrit. Ashoka's time, the Sanskrit language, the spoken form of Sanskrit means Prakrit was introduced, but from that time, in the literary sources, means all the literatures, they also started writing in Sanskrit language. Okay. So you can see the picture of peepal tree which represent the Buddha. But now, what is the main feature? In the new Mahayana Buddhism, the statues of Buddha were made and they were worshipped as idol, like people worshipped the idols in Hinduism and different idols, Shiva, Kali, Durga. At that time, in the similar way, they started worshipping the idols of the Buddha. And different types of Buddha idol were made in Mathura, and while others were made in Takshila. So these are the two important cities or centers in Kushana Empire. So this is the number one feature. And what is the number two feature? So it is the change was the belief in Bodhisattvas, who was called a Bodhisattva. That the Bodhisattvas were supposed to be persons who had attained enlightenment, and once they attained enlightenment, they could live in complete isolation and meditating for the rest of his life. But in new form, the Mahayana Buddhism, they believe that instead of doing salvation in complete isolation, they remained in the world to teach and help other people. So they got enlightenment, but after enlightenment they got huge amount of knowledge. So then they should spread the knowledge among the people. So this is the new idea was emerged in Mahayana Buddhism. And the worship of Bodhisattvas become very popular and spread throughout Central Asia, China, and later to Korea and Japan. Okay. Already they sent the representatives in the time of Ashoka, but now these countries have started accepting the norms of Mahayana Buddhism. So Buddhism also spread to the western and southern part of India, where dozens of caves were hollowed out of hills for monks and nuns to live in. You know that those people who left their home and family, everything, and just went out in search of enlightenment, and they lived their livelihood by begging food and from others. Okay, so these people are actually monks and nuns. So they lived in hollowed out caves in the hilly region and meditated in isolation. Sometimes these caves are made on the orders of kings and queens, and sometimes they were funded by the traders and farmers or merchants. And most of these caves located in the passes through the Western Ghat mountain range. So you have already watched the yesterday's class, where is the Western Ghat mountain situated in the southernmost part of our country, in the western part of our country. And on these regions, various caves were hollowed out, such as the caves of Ajanta. The Ajanta cave, the picture is given in Maharashtra, and another cave, it is a cave in Karle in Maharashtra. Okay, and you will read in detail about the Ajanta caves in chapter number 11 in your new NCERT book. And sometimes what happened, roads connecting prosperous ports on the coast with cities in the Deccan ran through these passes. Passes means the narrow pathway between mountain ranges. To cross, it is very difficult to cross the mountain. Okay, so that's why some passes were made between the mountain ranges. So, and roads were constructed on those regions. And when the traders, they passed through these routes, through these roads, they often halted in these caved monasteries during their travel and took the blessings of the monks. So, Buddhism also spread in some other countries, such as yes, Ayush Buddha also left his family because he need, but he has own palace. Yes, he left everything because of just to attain the enlightenment. Okay, because he already understood that these are not all these things are false. Okay, so one day everybody should die, and everything, and pain and disease, these are the inevitable things. So that's why he understood, so that's why he went in search of truth, and finally when he got enlightenment, he know what is the truth, and he spread those messages, those knowledge he received through enlightenment among his disciples and the other monks and nuns. Buddhism also spread southeastwards, like in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, and other parts of Southeastern Asian countries such as today's Cambodia, Laos, okay, and also in various islands of Indonesia and today's Malaysia also. So, the Buddhism known as Theravada Buddhism was very much popular in these areas. And what is the major difference between the Theravada Buddhism and the normal Buddhism? That Theravada Buddhists, they strive to become arthas and gain freedom from the cycle of samsara. So they believed that without bodhisattvas, or they can attain enlightenment by their own and by meditating long in an isolated place. And on the other side, the Mahayana believed you can choose to stay in the cycle of samsara, you can live with your family in your samsara and out of compassion for others. But you have to lead a life that is not, and that is followed by the Majjhim Pantha. Okay, a life following Majjhim Pantha, that is the ideology of Mahayana. And this is the difference between Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism. Okay, students? Yes, and that's why in these countries Theravada Buddhism was very much famous. And not only that, not only in these countries in the time of Buddha, also in Western countries, means the Europe and the Western Asia, they also sent their preachers, their officials. Ashoka sent, and at the time of Kanishka also. But what happened when the rulers, these dynasties was declined, then those empires were declined. Then with the decline of these empires, no supporter was there, no supporter of Buddhism was there. So that when new religions emerge in the Western Asia and in Europe, so people forgot the Buddhism. Okay, so this is the story of spread of Buddhism. So I think you have understood, and that's all from our today's class. If you have any question, you can ask me. Okay, so thank you everyone. Thank you for watching. So the next class I will discuss another subunit from your history chapter number 9, that is the quest of the pilgrims. So thank you everyone.